In this part 7 series of do-it-yourself home web server, we are going to learn how to make our website visible externally, either using the public IP address, or also we are going to see how we can register for a free domain name that we can link it with our public IP address so that we can be able to access our website. So one of the first things that we are going to do is to check our current IP address. So I will use the ifconfig command. And as we can see here, our public or our IP address for this machine is 192.168.0.32. So this is the IP address for this machine. And in our first tutorial, whereby when we were installing the Apache web server, our IP address was .33, and therefore that means because it has changed to 32, there is going to be some conflict. We can check that by cd, changing directory to etc apache 2. Then we're going to say sites enabled, and if I list the contents of this folder, the sites enabled folder, there is the default.conf, which we actually made some changes on it, and I will use the cat command, and I will type 00 default.conf, and when I go up the top of the contents of the file here, the server name was set to 192.168.0.33, and it should only operate on a port 80, which accepts the HTTP protocol. And therefore, because this is IP address 33 and this is IP address 32, that means that there's going to be conflict. We cannot be able to access our website using the IP address 33, and here we set to the configuration file for Apache that it should only access via 33. And therefore, to avoid such things, we need to create a static IP address, and we are going to do that by coming to this network icon and click on it. Then you select edit connections. Then here I will select the wired connection 2. Probably yours will be different or named differently, and I will select edit. And here there is the IP version 4 or IPv4 settings tab. I will select that, and here it is selected to automatic. That means when I switch off my computer and when I switch it on back again, it will give me a new IP address. And therefore, to avoid that, I will come and select manual to give a static IP address to this computer, and I will also click on add, and here I will supply 192.168.0.33, the one that we gave to our Apache configuration file. The subnet mask is 24, which is okay, and I will press tab again, and I will specify the gateway to be 192.168.0.1. And as far as we are concerned, this is what we need. And also we are going to specify the DNS servers. We are going to use the public DNS servers for Google, which are 8.8.8.8, and therefore I will save my network configuration, and I will close this, and I will come back to the network icon here at the top right, and I will say disconnect, and it is disconnected. I'm offline, and I'm going to reconnect it back again so that it can adopt the new networking settings. And therefore I'm connected back again, and when I come back to my terminal and I type ifconfig and I press enter, and you can see right now my IP address is 192.168.0.33, and this is going to work very well because also our Apache uses that as our server name. And therefore, after you've done that, the next thing is to do what we call port forwarding. Basically, port forwarding, what it means is that any person outside your local network who tries to access your network, your router by default will block them. And therefore, we want to tell our router that any traffic that comes through the port 80, which is the HTTP protocol, mostly it's used for websites and web application, to allow that and to forward those traffic or that traffic to this IP address, which is our machine. And therefore, any person who is trying to access your website or your machine via the HTTP protocol, your router will allow them and will forward that request to this machine, which can handle that request. And therefore, you do that by coming to your browser, and you are going to use the 192.168.0.1 gateway. Yours might be different. Check with your router manufacturer or documentation. And there is the advanced tab, and there is the forwarding option here. I've already set my IP address to be 192.168.0.33, and the ports that are going to handle that request are port 80. And I've said here that it is enabled. So your interface or your user interface might be different from mine, because there are different router vendors, and every vendor has got their user interface specific to them, and therefore it might be different from mine. So you need to find where your port forwarding option is. And after you have done that, at this point you can actually be able to access your website through the public IP address. How you can be able to know your public IP address? You can go to Google, then you type what is my IP address. Then the IP address that is going to be provided on top, that is your IP address. You can actually supply it on the URL bar, so that you may be able to access your website. That is if you won't feel like you want to go ahead and create a free domain. But still, even if you create a free domain, you can either use your public IP address or you can use the free domain. But still, if you have not explicitly told your ISP to give you a static IP address, which most of the times comes at a cost, you need to pay for that. We need to install we need to use the domain name, which even if the our public IP address changes, still we are going to maintain the same domain. We do not need to keep track of that IP address, and we are going to see how the no IP does that. So you are going to the no IP website, and here you need to sign up. For me, I already signed up, and I use the elimica.hop2.org. This is my free domain name. You create yours, and you can select different the domains here. They are different. Choose what works for you and what you like, but you can only do this after you've registered. And therefore, this is my domain name. And because we want to keep track of our public IP address, because if it is not static, that means anytime your router is switched off, and when you switched it on, there is a probability that the public IP address will change. And therefore, no IP provides a software that we can install in our computer that can keep track of our public IP address. And therefore, I'll download that software. And it shouldn't take so much time. Yes, so it's very low on memory, and I will select save file, and I will press OK. So it will download, and I can see it is already downloaded, and therefore I will open the folder where it was downloaded. It should be in the downloads folder, and here it is. And here it is, the noip.duc. So I will, if you go to this website where you downloaded your application, there are instructions on how you can install this in your machine. And here basically you can use your terminal by getting this content online, and you can also extract it and you can install it here. So I have already downloaded it, and I will extract it using not the terminal, but I will use the graphical user interface, and also I will install it using the terminal at this point. So here I will come back to my downloads folder. I will right click and I will say extract here. So after I have extracted, I will come back to my terminal here, and there is this information I really want you to see, and I will change my directory to my home folder, and I will change the directory again, and I will change it to downloads, where I installed the software. And when I list the contents, there is the no IP, this is the folder, and this is the zipped file, and therefore I will change directory again to no IP dash DUC underscore 3.1.1. Yes, then I will press enter, and when I list also the contents of that folder, here there is the folder called binaries, and this is the folder that we need, as you can see down here, for us to be able to install. There is this installation file which resides in the binaries folder, and therefore I will change my directory and enter into the binaries folder, and I will press enter. And now when I list, there is this the amd64.deb file, and this one it is here. So now what I will do, I will now install it by typing sudo, then I will say apt install, just as it is provided here. I'm not using the first option because I did that manually, but I'm going to use the second option to install. I'm going to use sudo apt install, then I'm going to use space dash / no IP dash DUC underscore 3.1.1 underscore AMD 64 AMD64.deb, and I will press enter to install. Then I will supply my password. So at this point it will install the application in my machine. So you need to be patient. It's progressing on well at 83. Now it has finished, it's just setting up. Okay, now it's done installing. Now one of the things that we need to do at this point, there is the third option, which is to log in and send updates to the no IP server. Now we need to send our IP address, the public IP address, to the no IP servers, and this application is going to do that, and we are going to do that by typing this. I can actually copy this and paste, copy there, and I will come here and paste it there. And therefore for the password, the DNS key password, I will delete that and I will provide the password. The password and the username, you can be able to get them at the client area of the no IP website. When you log in, you can get the username and password easily. They are there, and therefore I will type my password, which is 5 Q. Yeah, there is Y, there is 1 RCV 0 8 PU and T. And also I'm going to supply my username in place of the DNS key username there, and I'm going to supply my username as S1765V9. So that is my username. So at this point I will press on enter, and therefore it's attempting to check my public IP address, which is this one, and therefore it will update, has succeeded updating the no IP servers of my IP address, and therefore at this point I can use my free domain here, elimika.hop2.org, to access my website, and that is actually what I'm going to do now. I will come maybe to the new tab, and I will type elimika.hop2.org, and I will press enter. And voila, this is our default Apache web page. And in our previous tutorial, we even installed another website in the web directory. And when I type web after the hop2, and this is the same site that we installed. And as you can see here, there is my public IP address. I can also use that. I can copy, and I can also paste it by Control V, and when I press enter, I can still be able to access my Apache default web page or my Apache server using my public IP. I'm not using the .33 again, because when any traffic that comes through this web IP address, it's going to be routed to the .33. And therefore, I'm also going to switch to my other computer so that you can see that still works very well there. So this is my Windows computer. We are going to test to see if I can be able to access my website. So I will open my Chrome browser, and here I'm going to type elimika.hop2.org, and I will be able to access my Apache web server in my Ubuntu desktop, and here it is, the default page. And also when I type the info document.php that we saved in our machine, still you can find it there. This is though it's not wise to let people be able to access this information, this is just for teaching purposes. And also when we access the web folder or web directory that we uploaded in our last tutorial when we were setting up Samba, and also when we were doing our FTP, we'll press on enter, and here it is as well. So that is how you can be able to access your website externally using the public IP address, and also by registering for a free domain name. But I prefer you using the domain name, because even if the public IP address changes, still the software that we installed in our machine can be able to update the no IP server, and therefore it won't break down. You can be able still to access your websites. Thank you.